Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be recapping the latest episode of iZOMBIE, which is in its final season. Let's go ahead and get back into it. The episode begins with Liv talking to Major about her father and how she's worried about his recovery while trying to get off the Utopium. Somewhere else, we see the evil food truck lady has two zombies held hostage, one of them being the general's daughter, Sloane. At the morgue, Clive tells Liv about the most recent victim, a former beauty queen that slipped into a coma during the 90s and never recovered. He tells Liv that they suspected another beauty pageant contestant of poisoning the victim's makeup. After 20 years in a coma, the woman finally died, and now Liv is going to find out what happened. Now, over the years, this show has been very creative with the brains that Liv prepares, but this one really cracked me up as she mixed it with a pizza Lunchable. Very 90s. Not long later, 90s beauty queen Liv tries to help Ravi in his search for the person who originated the Utopium that created the zombies. Liv goes to her father's house and we find him passed out on the floor. Major comes over and helps with Martin, and Liv wants to bring him back to her house to take care of him. 90s brain Liv researches the murder victim. She's in full pageant mode, dressed in pink and listening to the Spice Girls on a Walkman. Where did she even find one of those? The parents of the girl, Lori Beth, come into the morgue to bring Clive some old tapes of the pageants, thinking it may help find out who was responsible for the death of their daughter. Peyton and Ravi interview a gang leader to find out who may have gotten the last of the tainted Utopium. They go back to the police evidence and find out that the last person to check out the evidence was a doctor, but when they see the picture, it looks like Donnie in a wig. Ravi questions Donnie about pretending to be a doctor and taking the tainted Utopium, but Donnie tells him that was actually his twin, Scotty. Donnie and his girlfriend Darcy try to go undercover to find out who may have abducted the general's daughter, Sloane. They end up chasing a suspect and she tries to jump a building but ends up falling to her death. They call Major and tell him about it, and he takes the woman's brain to his men and tells them to eat because they need to find out more information about what happened to Sloane. Liv's mother shows up on her doorstep and brings her younger brother. He's dying and they need to get out of Seattle for an experimental procedure. Liv offers to scratch him to save his life, but her mother says no. Martin comes into the room and Liv explains to her mother that she's helping him get clean. Martin encourages Evan to take the scratch and be healed. Peyton and Ravi break into Donnie's mom's house to try and find out if Scotty stashed the tainted Utopium there. They find Blaine waiting in the dark, and Peyton makes a deal with him if he'll help him find the stash. They find the stash, but it's all empty. Peyton tells Ravi the next day that she resigned as acting mayor and that everything she promised Blaine won't actually happen. While watching the pageant tapes, Clive discovers that Lori Beth's mother was moving around backstage when she had told them previously that she was filming the pageant the whole time. They bring her in for some questionings and trick her into confessing that she actually tampered with the makeup, but she had no idea what it would do and no idea that her own daughter would use the makeup. She just wanted to give one of the other contestants a rash. Meanwhile, at a local pie tasting festival, the evil food truck lady arranges to let her starving zombie captives loose. Liv arranges for Evan and her mother to be smuggled out of Seattle, and she thanks her for the help and promises to try and make things work between them. The starving zombies begin to attack the festival as Major and his guards come on the scene, and Major takes out Sloane as she's eating one of her victims. The zombie attack is all over the news as Liv arrives at her father's home. She watches the news footage and then gets a text to come into work. Ravi and Peyton follow up on their last lead in the tainted Utopium and wait outside the suspect's home. They go to get out of the car just as they see Liv exit the house with Martin behind her. They realize that the original creator of the zombie virus was indeed Martin. The episode ends there, and I love how deep this mystery is getting. They're really building towards something great, and I think the end of the series is really going to be something epic. I'm going to leave this one here. If you enjoyed it, please give it a like, and I'll see you back next week for another recap. Thanks for watching.